Welcome back, folks. Today we have some amazing things to cover as we got a first look into the Witcher 4 gameplay, or well, more specifically into a technical demo. During the State of Unreal event, we started off with CDPR showcasing how they utilized features of Unreal Engine 5 to improve on different aspects of the game so you get a better and more immersive gameplay. Honestly, it was a big surprise that they did it in this way, but I'm happy as this tells us how the game will flow and how it's going to look design-wise, as through, The Witcher 1, 2 and 3, we kinda got used to a certain feel of the world, and it seems they really managed to emulate it here with similar color palette and style. Showcase starts off with Trader Caravan being attacked by a manticore, a nasty monster which has the body of a lion, bat wings and a scorpion tail. At least, well, in the lore it has, but from the footage it seems it's very much like it. Being that this fella likes mountains, and because this gameplay is set in Kovir, all of the pieces start falling into place. Map-wise, Kovir is up here to the north, right next to the Dragon Mountains, which we know we would be around as, they stated during the initial reveal of the game. So it's north of Redania and Temeria, where we usually, walked around with Geralt. Having Kovir region included for me as a fan is really nice. I mean, another region for Ciri in this game would also be Sintra, but let's see what happens. Also, because of a tech like motion matching in UE5, it will be easier for CDPR to switch around gameplay and cinematic scenes, as we can see here. So think dialogue or other maybe action-oriented moments, which we had a chance to see like in the gameplay when the first Ciri arrives, when she talks to Kelpie, and ultimately towards the end where she talks to that contract giver. And then we finally see our first in-game look at Ciri, meaning again that this is the technical demo version, so even as it says, the final product can change. This is also where we have that scene transition into Ciri looking into that attack, being that during this part of the game she was doing this part of the contract. Keep in mind that I recorded this from the live stream in 4K, but the YouTube compression, especially during streams, is not the greatest. So of course we shall see like what CDPR is gonna be doing with this later on, but keep in mind they said that they will upload a part of this showcase later, so we shall see when that drops. Demo itself is running on base PlayStation 5 in 60 frames with ray tracing, which by itself was impressive. I wasn't counting on something like that to be the case. I mean, I expected around 30. Also, frame rate does stutter from time to time, which is normal for these sort of technical demos, which the main focus is to prioritize the Unreal tech rather than focusing a lot more on the mechanics or gameplay itself, but it still, gives us an insight into what they want to do. First off, I have to say terrain and environment look really good, solid amount of detail in the background, and even the compressed texture quality looks sharp in this footage. A lot of that can be contributed to nanite foliage, which it seems, goes well into the budget and won't overstrain the engine streaming where it could cause like lower frame rate. They are also including the cape finally for Ciri, an opportunity which was actually very much missing from The Witcher 3 and that they showed in like that first initial reveal trailer for like the Witcher 3 back in the day. But I mean, now you have better claw-to-claw collision, which, when translated into gameplay can look this good, where this cape and everything else can move natural with your movements and with the object or well the body. I also like how shadows feel, considering that they are doing a closer camera here, something they added in the Witcher 3 Next Gen update. So foliage and even monsters can feel much bigger as perspective is right in your face. Then we meet Kelpie, Ciri's companion that everyone who read the books is really happy about, so I'm glad that, Kelpie is making a return in The Witcher 4 because it kinda seems natural for Ciri. They worked a lot on horse riding mechanics, so it feels better than The Witcher 3 and acts like one body, as they said during the showcase. That means that everything else has to feel natural, fun and responsive at the same time. Now it's also including the root motion movement and realistic muscle contractions without having a hit on the performance of the game, which is another plus. Another feature which is really impressive is, as they call it, the multi-character motion matching. So in synchronize regardless of the position you want to mount Kelpie from, and in different like movement speeds themselves, making everything feel more natural and you avoid these bad transitions in animations. Big focus of the demo is on the nature, using, as I said, nanite foliage to make things feel better, more detail, and again, not having a major hit to the performance itself. Scene-wise, I have to say nature looks really packed. I mean, if finished product runs this well with all of this, exploring these sort of areas will be very immersive, being that this is Kovir after all and it's expected to look this way. It also seems very realistic in sense of color palette that they're using, not too stylized but still very familiar and cozy like in the previous games. We even see a bear and a deer running around for a second. I mean, I do like how their animations blended well with the environment, and to be honest, this is only going to make the exploration feel better because besides the usual like critters and stuff which you would meet, you're also going to meet monsters. So having them run around the forest like this is good. This tech also means that it allows them to bring in content faster during development, so that, the pipeline itself allows designers and devs to experiment more and run wild as much as the budget allows it because of these tools. Then we transition to Vagorest, a small fishing and trading town. That is also where our Manticore contract will be. I have to say, town looks really nice. I like what they did with the architecture. It must have a strong sense that you are in Kovir after all, and that means how they design things has to reflect the area they are in. So mountains, snow, and in general colder weather, and architecture does capture that part. This is also a place where we will meet shady characters and hear gossip from other lands. Lore-wise, I'm going to analyze every bit of it so you can be sure of that. Now let's focus on the open world interactivity, meaning how Ciri reacts to NPCs, how NPCs react to her and other objects around them, which is something that I think saw a huge upgrade for a few reasons, especially if we were to compare them to The Witcher 3 or Cyberpunk 2077, which means smoother animation and locomotion. As usual, some NPCs will react negatively towards a Witcher. Here also Ciri drops down the hood. I mean, cloth again looks nice with this transition and looks very natural. Even the bear texture and the fur itself looks good. NPCs seem to have a good rhythm to them, so they will go about their day, having different scenarios where they show interest in something and so on. Which I think is very beneficial for this game, because you want your NPCs to have a full day of doing something, of reacting to their environment and objects around them. I think that makes it like, well, next gen or current gen in this case. Even how Ciri moves through them, pushing away NPCs with proper reaction. But a moment which really surprised me when she interacts with this guy and he drops his apples and apples roll and they stay loaded in the scene. That's nice. I mean, all of these objects react with each other properly. That's a huge plus for their open world design in general, because these things were really not the case for them before. After that, we even see this little one go and grab an apple and the pig behind him goes in as well. I mean, this could be obviously a scripted moment in the game, of course, which is normal, but if animals really react this way to food being dropped near them, I would really like that. We also have a smooth transition where they look at Ciri as well. Like, in general, NPCs are going to be, reacting to a Witcher. It's not daily that you're gonna see one of them, especially in the time when Ciri is active. And she even tossed a coin to the beggar. Now, when Innkeeper is throwing out this guy, we can also sort of feel how that will be done. So if this guy, rolling looked this smooth and, for example, this heavy, I would love to see how this translates into combat when we start, flying around using bombs and signs. I think using Ard and a steep hill can be really a fun combo in The Witcher 4. Variety is also good, as much as I can see here from the gameplay, so a lot of NPCs, or well, meta-humans in this case, can be randomized to provide this variety. Going back to the metahumans, it's honestly impressive that they have about 300 of them in this scene, and we are not looking at a PowerPoint presentation, being that, well, updates to the engine made it better, so now you can have all of this mass, but you can still be in the budget for hitting those 60 frames or close to it. Well, having a consistent frame rate basically is important, but in any case, them standing close to each other, reacting to all of these things. I honestly was not expecting to be this size, like especially for UE5, because usually these things take a huge toll. And I do like that they are able to switch to these scenes as well, making again everything for a more immersive experience, hiding that loading screen or just loading in general as far as you can get, which is not easy to pull off. Graphics though, oh man, I mean armor clanking, hair being a lot more natural, Ciri looks good here, even when it's, compressed on YouTube. She also has some sass here, pretty straightforward discussion and turn the situation into her own advantage. You can definitely see like from the lore perspective that she is now older and kinda understands the world even better than she did, even like during The Witcher 3 and especially during everything which was happening in the books, because Ciri through her life has been through a lot. We also have this conversation between a trader and this villager, using smart objects to give, one item to him, make a purchase, and everything looks like really nice. Even that fish which he gave him is actually moving, so I do love all of this, so much detail. And town will change from time to time, it seems, where during one time you have a guy being tied there for a crime, then concert starts and people gather around. Now, for all of the Cyberpunk fans, imagine these NPCs in Night City in like, what, 2030 when this releases? I mean, we will have peak if this pans out so well in The Witcher 4. In the end, they also show on Lan Exeter, or well, the first look at it, and Lan Exeter is a winter capital and one of the major cities in Kovir. Lore-wise, Pont Vanis is the summer capital itself. They are just built like that and they have two capitals. And design-wise, Lan Exeter was described as having, well, not so many streets if I can remember well, meaning that some traversal will be done via the Great Canal, so I'm glad that they will play around with these environments to make stuff stand out. And this is where the demo pretty much ends, so overall about 10 minutes is a lot. I haven't expected them to show this much live. I thought they would stick to more like having behind the scenes documentary, but having this is much better because we get a proper look at it and we have a better picture of what we're getting. I think so far they are benefiting from this collaboration with Epic. I mean, I was worried on how UE5 is gonna run, and of course we still have to see the finished game in a sense with everything properly implemented and polished, but I feel like this is a good thing for The Witcher because it benefits, from that open world. I always said that the reason why The Witcher 3 was so good besides the story was how impressive it looked for that time, and Novigrad being a very packed place, back then, so I think they will do it justice in this game. Once they release the proper gameplay and I have the file actually which is not compressed, hopefully from the press center, we shall see what happens, I will do an even bigger analysis of the scenes and it will look much better and we can actually focus on those details much better than I can in this first initial video. In the end, I'm impressed. I mean, this game is still, coming out in like late 2027. I doubt it will be released sooner. They even also mentioned like a while back that 2026 is out of the option for it, which is expected for a game of this size and especially going on to Unreal Engine 5, testing the tech, implementing new features and working alongside Epic with this partnership. I do really hope it makes the final product run like this because it's going to be awesome. But I mean, for that we have to wait and see. We cannot deduce anything like from it just from this demo. If you want to stay updated with everything Witcher 4, consider subscribing and like this video. Join our community on Twitter and Discord for more discussions there, and huge thanks to my current Patreon supporters. I will see you very soon with a new video, and as always, stay classy everyone. Bye bye.